Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are under fire for that $915 billion bailout of state and local. Chuck Schumer's tried to explain the number, and his response is, well, you need some money for the state that gives you New York cheesecake and some bagels. And he's the one complaining about a Republican skinny bill. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's mornings, LALATE. Congratulations, you made it to the week. It's Tuesday. Labor Day is over. Hope you had a great break. Hope you just relaxed and did much of nothing. Sort of like Nancy Pelosi on a given week. But we're all back to work. Well, except, the caucus. And here we are. This is Mornings LALATE every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. Part of our 3.5-hour programming schedule here every day on LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. The coffee's brewing, the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the hair tips are being dyed. If you're a house member. Let me get to what's coming up this morning. First, details about the new bill being introduced this week. Second, incredible great news overnight about LWA and FPUC extension. That's just absolutely insanely good news. And finally, what I'll start with right now is two major hurricanes are developing and another fire here in Southern California. In the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Paulette has now formed. She is 1,250 miles west of Cape Verde, and she's about 1,300 miles of the North Leeward Islands. She has currently no threat to land. Tropical Storm Renee has now formed, and she is on the western side of Cape Verde as well. She's about 55 miles from San Antonio, Cape Verde. She's carrying 15-mile-an-hour winds. Neither are threats to land. However, they are expected to formulate into hurricanes shortly. The fires just continue to ravage California. A new fire yesterday, the Oak Fire in Mendocino. 1,000 acres burned now, 0% containment. The Bobcat Fire still in California, in Los Angeles, continues to fire. The Valley Fire in San Diego, it's at 3% containment, so improvement on that. 17,000 acres burned. El Dorado Fire in San Bernardino has also improved at 7% containment. About 7,000 acres burned. Boy, if you didn't catch the fireworks yesterday, it was not for Labor Day, it was for your stimulus checks. Incredible great news about what happened yesterday in a press conference that seemed sort of routine, but turned into basically a manifest as to what you're going to see in the next 2 weeks. What happened was, President Trump held a press conference on no less than a Monday, and he really took aim and fire at Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, calling them basically every name in the book, but really giving a motive behind their actions. If you did not catch what happened on Friday, coupled with what happened yesterday, it really sounds like the president is teeing up an executive order. Stimulus checks will be introduced as part of a second stimulus package from Republicans to the Senate this week. And I gotta tell you, I generally don't talk about other things, but that one news publication, which I will not name, who really should be ashamed of themselves, has literally published a second stimulus check article every 24 hours or every 12 hours, and has yet another one out today with a false narrative of what's in there. They should really be ashamed of themselves themselves to really get out of the business because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. This is a massive national news publication. It's not some small operative. And they're out again. And sadly to say, they're confusing even the viewers of this channel. So please do not refer to online news publications because this one is really out of bounds. The second stimulus package will be introduced this week. It will be introduced in the Senate. More about that in a second, but let me first get to what happened yesterday, why it's so important to understand the impact of the remarks and what it could do to the next 7 days. First, the remarks were made by Donald Trump, President of the United States, and they were so overwhelmingly prepared, clear, concise, and directed that when you hear them, you clearly grasp that this is a man who had thought this before, who had been dealing with this for a while. These were not off-the-cuff remarks. They basically said that he's preparing to take action, to send out a second stimulus package, but that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer don't want you to get stimulus until next year, want the economy to implode because they think it's best for their political means, which are to get another person to the White House and to flip the Senate. It's coupled with the comments on Friday. If you did not watch the comments on Friday the president said that he's ready to send out $300 billion that he found for second stimulus checks, but that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer won't let him send it out. He didn't give a reason to it. And this is what's incredible great news, is that in the video that ended yesterday's run of LALATE, our special report, I identified upwards of about $200 billion on top of $300 billion that has not been used. It's that incredible sum of money from the CARES Act and the subsequent revisions, those CARES Act 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 20 that went through April and May, additional rounds of PPP, all that type of great sums of money that have never been used. And that money is available to the president. So when the president on Friday said he had $300 billion, I believe there's far more in excess of that he can use. And what's important to understand, if you did not watch that broadcast, is that this is not Treasury money. The requirement that he needs congressional approval to send out money stems from whether or not the money comes from Treasury. And this money is not from Treasury. If you've seen with LWA, which I'll be getting to shortly, the money came from FEMA. And so he did not need anyone's approval or authorization or vote to send out money from FEMA because it was not Treasury money. So as you sit here now on a Tuesday morning, I'm reporting, and I'm the only channel and probably the only news operative that's reporting that there's not $300 billion. There's upwards of potentially $500 billion for this president to use for not just stimulus checks, but also FPUC. That's the incredible great news. His remarks yesterday were full-arm firing. He came for Pelosi like I've never seen him come. They don't want to make a deal. They think it's good for politics if you don't make a deal. This has not done anything other than politics. They know who you're dealing with. I do. They're people who I don't have a lot of respect for. They don't think they have a lot of respect for the American people. I know who I'm dealing with. I don't need to meet with them to be turned down. They don't want to make a deal because they know it's a good deal for the economy. And if I make a deal, it's good for the economy. And therefore, if it's good for the election, it'll be good for the election and good for me on November 3rd. And therefore, they're not making a deal. That was the first part of his remarks. What he's basically saying in that first set is that Nancy Pelosi wants the economy to blow up. She wants it to implode. And she wants it to implode so that people do not reelect the president. Half of the electorate believes his remarks on a regular basis. And if even a slight fraction of the Democratic electorate believes these remarks as well, it's overwhelmingly shocking. Because he's basically saying, here's a person who has not sent out stimulus, which we all know. I mean, that's just really not of dispute. We don't see the stimulus. It's not in our hands, Nancy. Okay, why don't we have the stimulus? Because she wants the economy to get worse. Well, the economy is getting worse. So the remarks carry a lot of weight because when you look at the backstory to it, we don't have stimulus and the economy is getting worse. It sounds correct. Now, let's go to the next part of the comments. Now, if we gave the store away, bailed out their Democrat-run cities $1 trillion, which is the kind of money they want to bail out badly run Democratic states or cities, whether it's New York or Illinois, they want to bail them out. We're saying we're not going to pay that price to them. We will do something to help cities, but we'll do it on our own terms. We didn't do this. Why didn't you do this in the beginning? I'm on the phone with Mnuchin and Meadows all the time, constantly where this is. Now, in the truth of the matter, this is not a very clear statement to most Americans. They don't understand what this cities and states thing is. The next part, I know when it's time to meet with people. I've done it well with deals. I know when it's time to meet. I don't need to meet with them to be turned down and give you a false report of what just happened. Those remarks don't necessarily work in his favor because it's sort of what Pelosi says, I'm not going to meet with you unless. He basically should have stayed with the first set of remarks, which is these people don't want to give you stimulus and they want the economy to implode. It's really shocking because what these remarks now mean is that this president has literally lined up, prepared, consulted, and thought through how to do an executive order for second stimulus. He is literally sitting on the side, ready to do an executive order. These comments are telling you that's what he's about to do. So what does this mean for this week? Let me explain. This week, I think, but it's really not clear, is he's going to go through the ropes and go through the hurdles. He's going to introduce the bill to the Senate. He's going to get approval from the Senate, which is Republican-led, and then it's going to land in the House. And he expects that the people that are the subjects of his remarks will try to shoot it down. And guess then what he will do? Executive order. It's, in a way, a backup. In a way, it's also teeing up a aura of doing things correctly. What he said on Friday was, I think that I can send out stimulus, but I'd rather have Congress do it. Okay. He's allowing Congress to do it this week and next week. And then if they don't do it, what is he going to do? Roll over and do nothing and let Nancy implode the economy? Oh, no. Not going to happen. He's ready to act accordingly. This week's bill is very well defined. Let's go over it. It's $500 billion. It has second stimulus checks. It has FPUC. It has money for school and finally money for testing. These details were briefed to the American public by Mark Meadows, Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Mike Pence. We've heard this, and we've heard it 5 times. These are their representations. Now, are the representations inaccurate? We'll find out this week. Are Mark Meadows' representations that this bill will be introduced this week inaccurate? We'll find out this week. It's Tuesday. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got 4 days, Mark. Let's get it done. Will the bill become a law within 7 days of this week, as Mark Meadows has represented? We shall see. Again, that's Mark Meadows' representation. Ultimately, viewers have to decide who they want to believe or who they want to have faith in, but at the moment, there's really almost no one to have faith in at all. Nancy Pelosi clearly does not want to give you stimulus this month. President Trump, some of the viewers really had stern remarks about, why didn't you do this 2-3 months ago? If you found the money then, why didn't you send out the stimulus checks then? It clearly looks like you're trying to bribe the electorate on the eve of the election. It really absolutely looks that way. Why did you wait till now to do this? And finally, this bill. I mean, we have been told by Steve Mnuchin multiple times things will get done in the end of the week. Things will be done in the next 2-3 days. Things are gonna be, and they just never manifest themselves. So, are we being told false hope? Here's my personal thoughts. My personal thoughts is the bill's going to pass the Senate. My personal thoughts is the bill's going to land in the House, and my personal thoughts are at that point you're going to see the executive order land next week. Ooh, Lord. Yeah, I just see that happening. I really do. I just think it's going to get very, very heated in a very short period of time. The second stimulus check will be $1,200. Let's go over what's in the bill. $1,200 to individuals, $2,400 for a married couple, and it depends on where the check. So this is new. This is great news, and the amount of the check is unclear. For dependents, $500 to $1,200. Child support unclear, whether it will be taken out or not taken out. A number of people in the household also unclear. Probably about $400. Whoa, my brain just went to FPUC. Probably $500. FPUC will land also in the bill. It will likely be $400 a week. It will be to December 31st. It will be retroactive. LWA, my goodness, it's just, that... clown at the circus with the balloons just keeps on walking in the room. It's like, here's another balloon for you. Well, the clown walked in, and as we start here on a Tuesday morning, it now appears that states don't have 3 weeks of benefits to pay out. They have 5 weeks of benefits to pay out. Incredible. So the minimum is 5, the maximum is 7. And what's ironic is that this week really tees up week 7. So we will see this week from my viewers in Arizona if they see a week 7 of payments. Arizona has said, we have money for 6 weeks, but we don't really have a full 7th week. The question is whether they're going to get that, little add-on to get to week 7 this week or not. If they don't, then it looks like every state is going to pay out 6 weeks. The reason why I'm reporting this morning is that California announced yesterday that they're paying out 6 weeks of benefits of LWA. Now you got to understand, LWA pays first in time. It's FEMA money, and it already has declared to American public that it'll pay the most number of weeks to the earliest states that applied and the least number of weeks to the later states that applied. Well, guess who was really like the last state to apply? California. And they say they have 6 weeks of benefits. Well, that means everyone in front of them also has 6 weeks of benefits and may have 7. Boy. So 6 times 3... what does that add up to, Larry? Oh, Larry Kudlow. Larry Kudlow, where are you? 6 times $300 a week is $1,800. People will be seeing an $1,800 hit deposit in their bank accounts across the country. Congratulations. This is very much needed at a time in which people really need money. Eviction moratorium was detailed last night on this channel, and I went through how you absolutely categorically cannot sit back and assume you have the protection of the CDC executive order without doing anything. There's a need for you to download the order. There's a need for you to do a declaration. There's a need for you to understand how much money you made to make sure you're eligible. There's a need for you to communicate this to your landlord. If you aren't doing these steps, you'll be evicted. So please watch my video from yesterday afternoon on eviction. It's the last video of Afternoons LALATE, because I really go through what's so important for you. And as we start this morning, and it's Tuesday, I gotta tell you, there's one thing I am going to lose my top about. I'm gonna literally blow my top somewhere in this week, and I'm just forewarning you, is when someone sends me tweets from inaccurate news reports. And I gotta tell you, I'm trying to keep it in touch. I'm trying to keep it, tied down, because there's going to be insanely, incestuously, horrifically bad news reporting about what's happening this week. And that same news report, that same news channel that's out with another fake news story this morning, yesterday said that they had a quote from Chuck Schumer. What did he say? As we return to the session in the Senate, Leader McConnell is planning another round of partisan games. In the upcoming session, they will cut the original plan, $1 trillion skinny bill, in half. He goes on to say that the new bill doesn't provide what it needs to provide. Well, Chuck Schumer's never seen the new bill. The bill being introduced this week is not a skinny bill. And in fact, it's not even in half. The president offered $1.3 trillion. What was it, last Friday or 2 Fridays ago? So it's not even in half either. I mean, nothing is, we understand Chuck Schumer really can't tell a straight story. But then we have news reporters that are absolutely taking his stories and adding more falsehoods on top of it. We'd like to extend the enhanced unemployment benefits, and we'd like to send out more economic impact checks, said Mnuchin about what's happening this week. We sent those checks to American families. It helped people through this tough time. No one wants to give more stimulus checks to American families than this president, Mike Pence. That's what's happening this week. Boy, it's going to be a really robust week. If there's ever a time to really clear your brain, keep an open mind, and really not see a title of a fake news article and just start sending it everywhere, it's this week. Please use restraint when seeing fake news articles, which may not appear to be fake on their surface, before sending them or sharing them with their friends. I don't want to say the names of the publications, but it's one publication that is literally doing this every 12 to 24 hours. They have literally ran a stimulus check article every 12 to 24 hours. It is out of control. Every single article is untrue. Every single article is a misstatement and a misquote, and they really are dominating the space of fake news on stimulus for purposes of print media. So I urge you, or online media, I urge you to consider restraint, really sort of not even focus on that other stuff. If you could only focus your attention on this channel, it would be greatly appreciated, because I am literally, if you don't know, I am pulling quotes from Pelosi, Meadows, Mnuchin, Trump, Pence by the hour. I'm able to do it. I'm doing online searches where I'm pulling them literally from the last broadcast to this broadcast. So you literally get something up to date to the minute. If there's nothing happening, that's, there's nothing for me to pull. It's sort of like, doing Nancy Pelosi's hair. But, there we are. If there's ever a day to like and subscribe to this channel, it's this day. Go to the Friends channel and hit the subscribe button so you get alerted when a new video goes live. Our goal is to reach 250,000 subscribers, and to do it in 2 weeks. We have about 5 more days, so let's get it going, folks. We're still not there. Let's hope to get it there. 10,000 more subscribers approximately. So go to the Friends channel, hit the subscribe and alert button. If you don't show a little red button next to your name, you may not be publicly subscribed. Also, like this video. Liking this video helps this video appear higher in the ranks. It helps the algorithm. Coming up this afternoon on Afternoons LA at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, more details about what's unfolding today. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused. Have a great morning. Thank you for joining me. And stay with LA for more.